Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Doug Warren. Welcome to the webinar today. We are going to be talking about Social Security claiming strategies, but we're going to really take it a step further. I know a lot of you were getting inundated by hype and a bunch of other stuff surrounding Social Security claiming strategies. It's a very hot topic in the financial services industry today. And it deserves to be so. But if you've been on any of my webinars before, you've heard me say, and I always hesitate to say this because it maybe comes across as being egotistical or something. I don't mean it that way. But I really believe that a lot of people are really missing the point with this Social Security opportunity. There's a lot of marketing organizations that are slapping together Social Security kits, seminar packets, and encouraging agents to start talking to their clients about Social Security claiming strategies. And they're doing it for one primary reason, and that is that it is a great way to get in front of prospective clients. It really, there's agents all across this country that are finding that by doing Social Security seminars or just by talking to their clients and offering to help their clients with Social Security, they're getting more referrals. It is a great way to get in front of new prospective clients. But the emphasis has been, well, once you get in front of them, then you can sell them your annuity. There's no question that opportunity exists, but it really misses the point. It really misses the sweet spot of this opportunity, which is to sell our clients permanent life insurance. And the reason is because of the fact that we can structure income streams from permanent life insurance and annuities, but primarily permanent life insurance, and those income streams do not go into the calculations to determine taxation of Social Security. So what we can do is we can show our clients great Social Security claiming strategies that are going to significantly boost the benefits that they receive from Social Security, and we can combine that boosted income with income from our IULs, our permanent life insurance, and even income from annuities, as long as we put those annuities inside a Roth. And then what we're doing is we're structuring an income for our clients at retirement that will be greater than it would have been had we not used our Social Security claiming strategies, but we will slash the taxes out of that boosted income. So what we're doing is we're giving our clients a greater amount of spendable income at retirement, which is all that really matters. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Any of you that order my book or read my book, The Synergy Effect, this is my new book. That's what the book is on. It completely goes through in detail Social Security claiming strategies, but instead of just leaving it there, it goes on to talk about these fantastic opportunities that we have to blend that boosted Social Security income with distributions from IULs, from our annuities inside Roths, and really do some tremendous things for our clients. I know a number of you on the call have ordered, placed an advance order for the book, which I really appreciate, and Lynn tells me those books, all those advance orders, will be shipped Monday of this coming week, so you'll be getting the book real quickly. Any of you that might be interested in the book, you can go to DougWarren.com. That's Doug with a hyphen Warren.com. You can learn more about the book and order it there if you're interested. Excuse me, apologize. Again, Social Security is a very hot topic because the market is just so large. We've all talked about this great big baby boomer generation that's approaching retirement, getting ready now to retire. And these people, many of them, have found that over the last 5 years, 10 years, their retirement, their ability to be able to retire with the kind of lifestyle that they were hoping that they were going to have has been greatly diminished over recent years. I mean, if you think about it, people have gotten the heck kicked out of their 401k accounts if those accounts were in the stock market. The money that they were, that the equity that they had in their homes that they were thinking, well, if I don't have enough in my 401ks, I can tap in, I can sell my house and get some money there, or do a reverse mortgage. Well, that equity, has much of that has disappeared. All these things are coming back. Certainly the stock market made a big comeback. Real estate is kind of perking up. But the problem is that most of these people really have experienced a period of 5-10 years where they have not seen much growth occur in their retirement accounts, and they're 5-10 years closer to retirement. So there's this huge group of people that are moving closer and closer to retirement and are less and less prepared for retirement. If they have any chance at all of enjoying the retirement that they were hoping to enjoy, they need to sit down with somebody that can show them how they can boost their income significantly. And there's safe ways to do that and risky ways to do it. And most people don't want those risky ways any longer. We can do it, and we're the only people that can do it. My goal, when we get done with this presentation, you're going to see that as a life insurance as a life insurance licensed individual, you really are the only person who has the ability to do what I'm going to show you here today. And it is to find a safe, predictable way to significantly boost retirement income for your clients, because you're going to use the right Social Security strategies and you're going to reduce the taxes on the Social Security benefit. For years, our industry has downplayed the role of Social Security. I started in this business 40 years ago. I went through a lot of training. There was little, if any, training that was on Social Security that dealt with the topics of how do we help our clients figure out the best way to claim their Social Security benefits so that they're boosting their income, or, as I like to say, what's the best offer our clients can get from Uncle Sam? The vast majority of people do not take Uncle Sam's best offer simply because they don't understand Social Security. And most advisors, because most of us have not understood Social Security, we've not been in a position to be able to help them. And when you look at Social Security, we can look at it from a negative standpoint. We can look at it from a positive standpoint. When you look at it from a positive standpoint, it's very difficult for us to come up with a financial product that can match Social Security's ability to be able to fight inflation, because it's got those COLA increases that have been pretty automatic over the years. They're not guaranteed, but they've been pretty automatic. Where else can we provide, take our annuity product. We can use an annuity product to give our client a guaranteed lifetime income, but if you look at the cost of inflation proofing that guaranteed lifetime income from that annuity by putting some kind of inflation rider on it, that boosts the costs up tremendously. Social Security has a track record of providing lifetime income that is adjusted for inflation because of those cost of living increases. Sure, our clients can accumulate a retirement reserve, and if they invest that retirement reserve, then that will provide them with a lifetime income. But there's an awful lot of risk associated with investing your money on your own, as people have seen over the years. And then when you look at the fact that Social Security has that survivor benefit for a spouse, and then the main thing of all is it is a guaranteed lifetime income for our clients, an income that our clients cannot outlive. Those are some pretty fantastic things that Social Security is able to do. And because it's able to do these things, anything that we can do to help our clients maximize their Social Security benefits is going to build financial security for our clients. Now, the argument on the other side of this, I'm getting ahead of myself, I've mentioned this before, IULs are the perfect product to combine with Social Security. Once we've increased the client's Social Security income by using the right claiming strategies, then we combine that income with sources of income from IULs, and we're able to increase spendable retirement income because we're reducing the taxes. There is a big, valid argument against relying on Social Security for retirement planning. And that's an argument we're all really familiar with, and that's the fact that Social Security is underfunded. Social Security is a program that's in jeopardy because of the fact that our politicians in Washington are nuts. They spend money that they don't have. They promise benefits that they can't afford to promise. Because of that, a lot of people say, I am not going to rely on Social Security or even spend much time looking at Social Security because I don't think it's going to be around. And those people might be right. But I believe, and this is only my opinion, I believe that if we target the right people for Social Security claiming strategies, then we can really help those people, and those people should rely on Social Security to a degree for their retirement. The right group of people for us to target, in my opinion, are people that are in their 50s and above. And the reason is that because if you look at any of the proposals that any politician has presented for changing Social Security, for trying to make Social Security a more solid long-term program, those changes never impact the people that are retired or close to retirement. So when you look at any of the proposals, any credible proposals for modifying Social Security, they typically say these changes will not impact people who are over the age of 55, or these changes will not impact the people that are over the age of 50. It's only going to impact those people that are in their 40s or maybe in their early 50s. My personal belief is we absolutely will see changes to Social Security. My belief is it'll never go away. You just can't get rid of this program now. There are too many people that are retired that you would just throw into poverty if you got rid of Social Security. It's going to be here. It will definitely be changed, but the likelihood is it'll be changed for people that are under the age of 50. When you're 50 and over, the older you are, the greater the chance is that Social Security is going to pretty much remain intact or pretty much be the way it is today for those people going forward. Now that's just my opinion, and what do I know? But I think it's a valid opinion. There's a lot out there that kind of backs that opinion up. And so if we're targeting people that are in their 50s and we're helping them with these Social Security claiming strategies, I think we're doing a really good job for them. Let me explain to you, excuse me, how I first got involved and interested in Social Security claiming strategies. Like I say, I've been in this business 40 years. I didn't pay any attention at all to Social Security until 2 years ago. And what really grabbed my attention 2 years ago is I had a buddy in Florida that's in the business. 2 years ago, he started doing seminars, workshops on the topic of Social Security, inviting consumers. And he was packing them in. And he told me about it. I became very much interested in it. I'm the kind of person where I can't go out and start talking to people about some strategy until I really feel like I've learned a lot about that topic. I don't want to just go in and start talking. So I spent a lot of time, maybe too much time, studying Social Security and really trying to understand the ins and outs. And what really hooked me was when I found out about what's referred to as file and suspend. And we're going to talk more about file and suspend as we go through the presentation. But when I learned about file and suspend, I started thinking about how that impacts me and my personal situation. Prior to 2 years ago, when I started to get interested in Social Security, I was like a lot of people. My plan, I'm 61 years old, my wife Cheryl, she's about my same age. Our plan had always been, we're going to start our Social Security benefits as early as we can, which is age 62. After I started looking into Social Security and I started understanding the file and suspend strategy, it changed completely my view. Now our plan, my wife's plan and I, we are going to delay the start of our workers' benefit until we reach the age of 70. That will significantly increase the amount of that workers' benefit. But because of the file and suspend strategy, my wife and I will collect $48,000 of free Social Security benefits, extra Social Security between our ages 66 and 70. And had we done what we were originally planning on doing, which is starting at 62, we would have left that $48,000 on the table. We would never have received it. So that's what started me really getting interested in this. And the more I got into it, the more I started seeing what we as advisors can do with Social Security, especially with our ability to combine it with things like IULs and annuities. And I don't think there's been a better time to be in this business than where we are right now. I've never seen, in the 40 years, I've never seen a better time for being a life insurance licensed agent than where we are today. What's interesting about file and suspend is that there is an opportunity that comes about because of the fact that very, very few people have ever even heard of file and suspend. And the reason is that because it has not always been a part of Social Security. It actually became really possible to do a file and suspend strategy when the legislation, the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act of 2000 was put into place. So it's only been since the year 2000 that we've really had the ability to talk to our clients about file and suspend the way that we can today. Now, this is what my new book is all about. As I mentioned, it's all about Social Security claiming strategies, file and suspend, combining distributions from IULs, from annuities inside a Roth with Social Security. If you're interested in learning more about the book, go to doug-warren.com. Okay, so how do we slash these taxes? We're going to go through and we're going to talk about how we can boost Social Security benefits, but to increase spendable income for clients, it's going to take a lot more than just boosting benefits, because we live in an environment today where the more income you have at retirement, the bigger your tax problem, future tax problem is going to become. And it was never so, that tax problem was never so ugly as it is when it relates to our Social Security benefits today. You take ordinary people that have, they just view themselves as being middle income type people that have never really been in high tax brackets. They've never seen a 33% tax bracket or a higher tax bracket. They've typically been in that range where their average tax rate has been in the 20s. And maybe they got state tax on top of that, but combine it all, on average, they're paying less than 30% in taxes. What those people don't understand, what many of us don't understand, is what is referred to today as the tax torpedo. And the tax torpedo is the huge tax rates that people are going to pay once they retire concerning their Social Security benefits. If you have not heard of the term tax torpedo, when we're done with the session today, Google it, and you will find article after article after article from credible sources like the Wall Street Journal and Kiplinger's and Money that'll tell you and verify exactly what I'm showing you here right now. And I know a lot of you on the call are familiar with this, and stick with me if you are familiar with it, because I think you'll see that maybe as we go through this, I'm going to make some points that maybe you aren't as familiar with, but we got to start here. As a lot of you know, the way Social Security taxation is calculated, it's based upon the income that our clients have and whether or not that income exceeds certain thresholds. When we're dealing with a married couple, and we'll get into those thresholds in more detail, but right now I just want to make the tax point. When we're dealing with a married couple, the top threshold is $44,000. That means that they have over $44,000 of what's referred to as provisional income. If they exceed that $44,000 threshold, they are going to get hit with taxes that are shocking to them, that are much, much higher than they ever would imagine. For every dollar of income an individual takes from their IRA or their 401k that exceeds that $44,000 threshold, because that dollar is coming out of their IRA, their 401k, we all know, the client knows, it's taxable. Take $1 out of my IRA, I create $1 of taxable income. But when that dollar exceeds that $44,000 threshold, that dollar also creates 85 cents of taxable income from one of the client's Social Security dollars. So every dollar that the client takes, if they're married, over and above $44,000, they don't just have $1 of taxable income, they have a total of $1.85 of taxable income. That dollar over and above the $44,000 threshold that they draw out of their IRA creates $1.85 of taxable income. So that means that if the client's tax rate is a 25% rate, well, they're not paying 25% on $1 of taxable income. They're paying 25% on $1.85 of taxable income. They only took an extra dollar, but it created, because it exceeded that $44,000 threshold, it created $1.85 of taxable income. You apply a 25% tax rate to $1.85, that creates 46 cents of taxes. That effectively puts the client, that effectively taxes them, puts them at a tax rate of 46% for every dollar that they're taking from their IRA or their 401k over and above that $44,000 threshold. And if that's based upon a 25% tax rate, if their tax rate was a 33% tax rate, taking that dollar out of that IRA, if it exceeds that $44,000 threshold, creates $1.85 of taxable income, 33% of that is 61 cents. They are effectively taxed on all of those dollars coming out of their IRAs over and above that threshold. They are taxed at a rate of 61%. Now you show this to someone and they'll get sick to their stomach. People have no idea that they're going to be paying taxes at these rates on the income that exceeds that top threshold. And you think about that threshold, it is not indexed to inflation. So as a client's income grows, that threshold does not grow. How many of our clients look at retirement and say, oh, all I need is $44,000 of income, so I'll be under those thresholds? I'm in California. A lot of people that I'm talking to, when they retire, they want to have $85,000, $90,000, $100,000 of gross income to have any chance of having a kind of retirement lifestyle that they've been used to prior to retirement. So when you think about how much income somebody's going to have to take over and above $44,000 to meet their retirement income needs, and then when you think that whatever that income is, if they want $64,000 of income, that extra $20,000 they're taking, that is going to effectively be taxed at a rate of 46%, 56%, 66%. Again, that comes as a huge, huge shock to most people. When we look at those thresholds, and here's, again, just stick with me if you're familiar with all of this stuff, because I guarantee you we're going to start getting into some things here that I don't think maybe a lot of us are familiar with. When we look at how that income is determined, how those thresholds, how it's determined how much our income is exceeding those thresholds, we have to understand those provisional income calculations. And what the provisional income calculations say, the calculations that the IRS uses, is that all of the money that's coming from your IRA and your 401k and your SEPs and your 403bs, all of that money goes into a bucket to determine where you are on meeting those thresholds. But only 50% of your Social Security dollars go into that bucket for determining where you are in those income thresholds. So any income that you receive under $32,000 from these two sources, 100% of all your IRA 401k dollars, only 50% of your Social Security dollars, we combine all that together, and if it's under $32,000, it's all tax-free. If it's over $32,000, then 50% of the Social Security is taxed. If it's over $44,000, then 85% of the Social Security is taxed. But here's the key. if only 50% of our Social Security dollars go into those calculations, then doesn't it stand to reason that we could receive twice as many Social Security dollars as IRA or 401k dollars without increasing our taxes? And we absolutely can. We can get double the Social Security benefit without increasing a client's taxes. So then the question becomes, well, how in the heck can we double our Social Security benefit? Is it possible to double our Social Security benefit? And the answer is absolutely. Here's an article from CBS Money Watch, and the title of the article is actually Double Your Social Security Benefits. And it talked about an individual, typical person making 80 grand a year, whose benefit at full retirement age 66, would be $2,157. But here's the thing, most people, if you look at the Social Security Administration statistics, over 70% of the people claim Social Security at an age less than their full retirement age. And in fact, the majority of those people claim the benefit at the earliest possible age, which is 62, the age I was going to claim my benefit. And because of that, they get a reduced benefit of $1,458. What this article shows is if those people had waited to 70, their benefit would have been $3,300 per month. That is doubling the $1,458 benefit. So we can double our benefit with the right Social Security claiming strategy, and we can get twice as much Social Security income without increasing our taxation. That presents some pretty interesting opportunities for us. I'm going to show you two examples. Right now, they're both exactly the same. But in a minute, I'm going to change the example on the right, example number 2. What these examples show, I think, a pretty typical situation. Let's say we've got a client, and what they want is a total gross income at retirement of $90,000 a year. And that 90 is going to come from two sources. It's going to come from Social Security, and it's going to come from their IRAs and 401ks. Pretty typical. People retire. Those are their sources of income. And we're going to just say that half of that income, 45 grand, is coming from Social Security. That would be the worker's benefit for both spouses. We're assuming each spouse has worked. Excuse me. We're assuming each spouse has worked, and we're assuming that they claim their Social Security workers' benefit, and the total is 45 grand. If we look at the taxation of Social Security, there's actually 3 tests that the IRS uses to determine what percentage of Social Security is going to be taxable. And you actually apply all 3 tests. And it is the test that results in the lowest portion of Social Security taxable income, which is the one that's used. In this example, the test that I'm showing you is test number 3, which for many people is the test that's actually used. Here's how that test works. We take the total income coming from sources like IRA and 401k, that's line 8. That goes into those provisional income calculations. So we got $45,000 in that bucket that we looked at a minute ago. And we only take 50% of Social Security. So 50% of that $45,000 that's coming from Social Security. So that's $22,500 line B. Their total combined income or provisional income is what you see on line C, which is $67,500. The way the taxation on Social Security is determined under this test is you take the first threshold for a married couple, line D, which is $32,000, and you take the amount of their combined income that exceeds that first threshold, and you see that on line E, that's $35,500. 50% of that amount under this test is included as taxable income. But you're not done, because line G, what you're doing is that you're taking the second threshold, $44,000, for a married couple. You calculate the amount of their combined income, line C, that exceeds that second threshold, and you see that amount on line H, which is $23,500. And under this test, 35% of the amount that exceeds that second threshold is also included in taxable income or taxable Social Security, which is line I, $88,225. So to arrive at the total Social Security taxable portion, you add line F to line I, and the total is $25,975. We see at the bottom, the client's total taxable income is $70,975. That's the $25,975 of taxable Social Security plus the $45,000 that came from the IRA and the 401k. The total of those two are $70,975. Tax advantaged income is $19,025. What do I mean by tax advantaged? Tax-free in this scenario. That $19,000 is the portion of Social Security that was not taxed. So the client's got $90,000 of total income. Of that $90,000, $19,000 is not taxable. That's the portion of Social Security that's not taxed. Okay, can we improve on this? Yeah. This is what we're going to do in example 2. What example 2 shows is that we're keeping the same amount of total income, $90,000, but we are increasing the amount of that 90 that's coming from Social Security, and we are reducing the amount of the 90,000 that is coming from IRAs and 401ks. And if you think about it, this is actually what happens when people delay the start of their Social Security benefits. Take somebody that wants to retire at age 65. They don't want to work anymore. And they like the idea of getting a much, much larger Social Security benefit by waiting until age 70. Well, that's great, but the problem that it creates is, where do they get their money to live on between age 65 when they retire and age 70 when their Social Security is going to start? For many people, they're going to have to draw down more from their IRAs and their 401ks, which means that later on, they're not going to get as much income from their IRAs and 401ks because early in retirement, that first 5 years, they drew more of that IRA and 401k benefit down. So it really makes sense. The example 2 really does make sense. We've boosted the Social Security by delaying it, but we've reduced the IRA 401k balances because we used up more of it in the early years. So now we're assuming that's only generating $20,000 a year of income. Client's got the same total of 90, but because we changed the mix and more of it's coming from Social Security, it has a dramatic effect on the taxation of their Social Security. I'm not going to go through the numbers line by line, but you see the total Social Security at the bottom, total taxable Social Security in this scenario, it dropped from $25,975 down to $15,350. And if we look at the very bottom of example 2, we see that the total taxable dropped from $70,975 down to $35,350. And the tax advantaged income increased from $19,000 to $54,000. Again, what do I mean by tax advantage? That's tax-free. And that $54,000 is coming from from Social Security, the non-tax portion of Social Security in this example. Now notice, we haven't, a lot of us we're talking tax-free retirement, we're using our permanent life insurance. I haven't done any of that in these 2 examples. All I've done is I've increased this client's tax-advantaged income by showing the client how to rely more on Social Security and less on their IRA and their 401k. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at another example. And this example, example 3, is where I am going to start using my products. And we're going to compare it to example 2 from the previous slide. Let me go back to the previous slide for a minute. You see example 2 on the right. You see down at the bottom, total taxable income is $35,000. Total tax advantage income is $54,000. In this next slide, we just moved example 2 over to the left, and we see at the bottom that same total taxable income, 35, same tax advantaged income, 54. But now what we're going to do in example 3 to improve on example 2 is that we're going to say, okay, we can't increase Social Security anymore. What can we do? Well, what we could do is we could reposition some of the client's assets so that instead of the client getting $20,000 a year from his IRA or 401k, let's reduce that. Let's say that they're now only going to get $10,000 a year from their IRA or their 401k. And we're going to get them an extra $10,000 from some tax advantage source. They're still going to have the same $90,000 of total income. They're still going to get $70,000 from Social Security, but now we're reducing the IRA and the 401k income, and we're replacing it with tax advantaged income. Okay, now what do I mean by tax advantaged income in this sense? It's income that meets 2 criteria. The first is that income is not taxed. We're getting that income from a source where the client does not have to pay income taxes. The second criteria is equally important, and that is that tax advantaged income has to come from a source that is not included in the provisional income calculations to determine the taxable portion of Social Security. So what sources of income are out there that meet both those criteria? Well, a client could do a reverse mortgage. That client could get $10,000 a year from a reverse mortgage, and that reverse mortgage income is not taxable income, nor does that reverse mortgage go into those provisional income calculations for Social Security taxation. What else? What about an annuity? Well, a non-qualified annuity is going to be taxable, and it is going to go in those provisional income calculations. So that doesn't fit the criteria. What about, though, if what we did was talk to this client? Let's assume that this client is 60 years old. What if we talk to this client about a strategy of let's boost your Social Security benefit, and let's take some of your qualified money, some of the money that's in your IRA, and let's buy an income annuity with it that's going to generate $10,000 of income to you every year for the rest of your life. And let's take that annuity and let's put it inside of a Roth. In other words, let's convert a portion of your IRA to a Roth IRA and put our income annuity inside that Roth IRA. If we do that, it meets both those qualifications as tax advantaged income. Coming out of a Roth, that annuity income is not taxable income, and that annuity income does not go in the provisional income calculations to determine Social Security taxation. What other source could be tax advantaged? It could be money that's coming out of our permanent life insurance. We all know that money coming out of our permanent life insurance, if it's done properly, is not taxable income. But it's also important to recognize not only is it not taxable income, it does not go into the provisional income calculations for determining the taxable portion of Social Security. So we've got multiple sources of additional income that we can maybe create or help our client create that meets the criteria of tax advantaged income. And when we do that, look at what now happens for the taxable portion of our Social Security. Go down to the bottom of example 3, the total taxable income, it's $6,850. So we dropped the taxable portion of our $70,000 Social Security benefit from $15,000 down to $6,800 by creating that extra $10,000 of tax advantaged income and replacing 10,000 of our IRA income with that. And if we look at the very bottom, our total taxable income, this client's total taxable income on 90,000 of income is $16,850. Their total tax advantage, tax-free income is $73,000. Now, we've got a client here that's getting 90,000 of income, but more importantly, we have dramatically boosted the spendable portion of that 90,000 of income because we've reduced the taxes so significantly. If this client only has $16,800 of taxable income, they are going to be at the very low tax bracket, and very little of their income is going to be, they're going to have to send to Uncle Sam or their state governments to cover the taxes. And think about, we're only doing this with 10,000 of income coming out of our permanent life insurance as an example. So it's not like we're trying to, where we're showing our client, you got to create an income stream from permanent life insurance that's $50,000 a year to really get a big tax advantage. Just a little bit coming from our permanent life insurance can make a huge, huge impact on the taxable portion, on what this client is paying in total taxes. Because what we've done is we've not just boosted spendable income on Social Security, more importantly, we have precisely combine that boosted Social Security benefit with income sources that have a certain makeup, have certain advantages. We combine that together, and we're dramatically, dramatically slashing taxes and boosting spendable income for our clients. Let's talk more about, okay, well, what are the specifics of boosting that Social Security benefit? The minimum age that any of our clients can take Social Security, 62. 66 for most people, not all, but most people that we're dealing with, is what's considered today to be full retirement age. And by waiting from 62 to 66, the benefit is 33% higher. You can wait as long as age 70, and if you do, the benefit is 75% greater than the minimum benefit. I'm going to show you why that 75% is actually way underestimated. It's actually closer to 100%. The full retirement age is 66 for anyone who's born between, born between the ages of the years 1943 and 54. If you're born in 1955 through 1959, the full retirement age kind of phases from 66 to 67. So if you're born in 1957, your full retirement age is 66 and 6 months. Whatever your client's full retirement age is, if they take their benefits prior to that age, they're going to receive a reduced benefit because there is a penalty for taking the benefit early. And if you wait to take the benefit over age 66, there is a credit. That amount of the credit is an 8% credit. Every year that the client waits to start the benefit after reaching full retirement age, that benefit is credited with an 8% increase. That is a simple interest increase. So if you wait 4 years, your benefit is boosted 32%. Pretty significant increase, though, in the benefits. But that's not the whole story, and we're going to see why in a minute. If you've got $1,000, if your benefit's going to be $1,000 at full retirement age, it's going to be $750 at 62. It's going to be $1,320 at age 70. So what most people look at, which is a decent way of looking at it, well, if I start my benefit early at 62, then even though it's a smaller benefit, I am going to collect more checks over a long period of time because I'm picking up checks starting at 62 until 66 or until age 70. I'm getting a smaller benefit, but I'm getting more checks early on. If that person who's at age 62 lives to age 80 in 6 months, a $750 monthly check would total $166,500. A person who waits to age 70 is going to get a bigger check, but fewer of those checks. And if that person lives to age 80 in 6 months, the total, if we totaled up those $1,320 monthly checks, the total would be $166,320. It's the same amount. What that means is, and the breakpoint will be different depending upon the circumstances for different people, but in this example, if the person is going to live less than to age 80 in 6 months, they would have been better off starting the benefit early. But if they lived longer than age 80 in 6 months, they would have been better off delaying the start of the benefit. The person who started at age 70, if they lived 5 years longer, would get a total of an additional $79,200. The person that starts it at 62 would only get $45,000. That's a typical break-even analysis, a very simplified break-even analysis, which is what a lot of people do in figuring out their benefits. And it's a mistake because it does not take into consideration COLAs. When your client receives the statement from Social Security, the numbers on the statement are inaccurate. They're greatly underestimated. And if you read carefully through the statement, it will tell you they are underestimated. The reason is that because the numbers on the statement do not include COLAs, and they make the assumption that the worker at the time that the statement is generated will never get a pay increase. And that's not going to happen. In other words, if you've got a client that you're working with and they're 57 today and they go online and they get their statement, they look at a benefit amount, and the amount that's being reflected in the statement is assuming that between their age 57 today and their age, let's say 65 when they're planning on retirement, they'll never get a pay increase. If they do get a pay increase, it'll boost the Social Security benefit that's shown on their statement, because the way the benefit is calculated is based upon a person's work and earnings history with Social Security. But in addition, that benefit would be boosted even greater if there were COLAs that had been declared, and the statement assumes that no COLAs will be declared. That sets up a real problem for people, because the vast majority of people, when they're making their decision about whether or not they want to start their benefit, their Social Security benefit early, or whether they wanted to start it late, they're basing that decision on the numbers that they see in the statement without realizing that those numbers are vastly underestimated. Take a person who's age 62, getting ready to retire. They go online, they get their statement, and the statement shows if you start your benefit today at age 62, your benefit amount is going to be $1,500. If you wait until full retirement age, it's going to be $2,000. If you wait till age 70, it's going to be $2,600. The person's looking at the statement and they're saying, oh, okay, here's my decision. Would it be better off to take the $1,500 today, or would it be better off to wait 4 years and take $2,000, or better off to wait 8 years and take the $2,600? And they make their decision based upon those numbers. But in reality, here's what those numbers should show if all you did was add an average COLA. The COLAs have averaged historically with Social Security at 2.3% annually. So if you take that COLA, by the person waiting to get the benefit, they get those COLAs even though they're waiting to start the benefit. So if you apply a 2.3% COLA, that means that the benefit at age 70 wouldn't be $2,640. It would be $3,292. There's 62 today, so what they're looking at is, well, if I start my benefit today, I'm going to get $1,500. If I start my benefit at age 70, I'm going to get $3,300. Now, I'm not saying that this means two qualifiers here. Their $1,500 would also get that 2.3% COLA. So at age 70, it would have grown larger than the $1,500. It's not going to be anywhere close to the $3,300, but it would have grown. The second qualifier is just because the numbers show this way, it doesn't mean the right decision for everybody is to start at age 70 or to start at age 66. is a very personal decision. It's based upon a lot of factors. Not all of those factors are financial. You got to kind of take into consideration, how's this person's health? How long are they probably going to live? It's going to be, you have to look at that. You have to look at their financial situation. I mean, they may not have an alternative. They may have to start taking the $1,500 right now because they don't have a big pot of money in their IRA that they can pull from until their benefit at age 70 starts. So I don't want to make this sound like it's a real simple decision to make here. It's not. It's a very complex decision. My only point is that most people are making these decisions and they don't have anywhere close to all of the information. And if we as advisors, if we take the time to get knowledgeable about Social Security, we can really advocate for our clients. We can really help them, sit down with them and just explain this all to them so that they're making the decision based upon accurate information. Not that we're going out there and saying everybody should wait till this age or everybody should start at this time. It's just we need to get these people the information. So if you take those COLA adjusted benefits, now instead of the person getting just $1,500 at 62, if they wait to 66, they got $2,200. If they wait to age 70, they got $3,300. Again, it doesn't mean that this means that everybody should start early or that they should wait. The decision is going to be based upon the circumstances for the individual. Everybody is individual. There's not one strategy that's going to fit everybody. What makes this very almost overwhelming to most people is that there are literally hundreds of options, hundreds of different combinations of here's what you get if you started at this time, here's what you get if you started at this time. The person can start their benefit any month between 62 and age 70, and for each month that they delay, their benefit is going to change. The penalty amount is going to be more or less. The delayed retirement credit is going to be more or less. That means there's hundreds of options for single people. When you've got a married couple, it literally changes to thousands of different options, different combinations of taking benefits. Because if that married couple, if they both worked, if they both have a work and earnings history with Social Security, they each have their own workers' benefit they can apply for. They each have the potential for applying for a spousal benefit. And there's all kinds of different combinations of workers' benefits and spousal benefits. So it's very complicated for people that, that have not taken the time to learn this stuff, and most consumers aren't going to take the time to learn it. I had mentioned earlier the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act of 2000. That act changed an awful lot of things as it related to Social Security, and it really should change the way people claim their Social Security benefits. But so few people are aware of the changes that came out of this act that they're still making decisions based upon how things used to be prior to this legislation. And as we had talked about, one of the big things that came out of this was the file and suspend strategy. I started out this presentation by saying for my wife and I, it's an extra $48,000. That's a lot of extra money. And anytime you're starting to, talk about, here's a way for you to get an extra $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, it starts sounding a little bit unreal. How legitimate is this file and suspend strategy? Go to the Social Security website, and in their search engine at the top right, type in file and suspend, and you will see all kinds of information from the Social Security website that talks about the file and suspend strategy, As it says here, if you and your current spouse are full retirement age, one of you can apply for your retirement benefits now and have the benefits suspended, while the other applies only for spousal benefits. This strategy allows both of you, both spouses, to delay starting their workers' benefit. By delaying the start of their workers' benefit, they get that delayed retirement credit. They get that big annual boost in the benefit they'll ultimately receive. But the file and suspend strategy allows them to collect the spousal benefit while they're waiting for the workers' benefit to start. So here's how, in my situation, here's exactly what my wife and I are going to do. And this is what anybody would do to use a file and suspend strategy. We're both going to wait till age 70 to start our workers' benefit. When I reach full retirement age, 66, my wife and I will go down to the Social Security office. I will file a restricted application for my workers' benefit. The only reason I'm filing a restricted application is so that my wife can file for the spousal benefit. As soon as she files for her spousal benefit, I will suspend my workers' benefit. I haven't even collected a check. I'll do it the same day, at the same time I'm at the Social Security office. The only reason I'm filing is so that we can start getting that spousal benefit. My wife doesn't want to get her workers' benefit because ultimately it'll be much greater than the spousal benefit, because the workers' benefit gets that delayed retirement credit. Spousal benefits do not get a delayed retirement credit, so there is no advantage to waiting to start the spousal benefit. That's, in a nutshell, how that file and suspend works. And this is a mainstream strategy. Do a Google search, type in file and suspend. You will get article after article from credible sources. This one's from Kiplinger, that will talk about file and suspend. It will talk about how you can get thousands of extra dollars by using this file and suspend strategy. Again, you should make it a mission to go out and tell every single one of your clients, every one of your neighbors about file and suspend. Because you're showing them how to get an extra $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 of benefits that if they don't know about it, they're going to leave on the table. And then isn't that what we want to do? We want to go out and get in front of people and start talking to them about retirement, planning for retirement. This is a great way to do it. Quickly, let's look at two couples. The couple on the left is not going to use file and suspend, and they're going to start their benefits at age 65. Couple on the right, they're going to delay the start of their benefits to 70, and they're going to use the file and suspend strategy. All four people are exactly the same age. All four people have exactly the same work and earnings history with Social Security, so the benefits are going to be exactly the same. Our couple on the right, they start at 66. The total of the workers' benefits in this example is $36,000. Assuming there's a 2.3% COLA, the next year their benefit would increase to $37,000. Assuming that COLA kept up, by the time they were 70, their total benefit would be $40,601. The couple on the right is going to wait until age 70. By waiting, by getting that delayed retirement credit, once they turn their benefit on at 70, they're now going to get $57,840 for the rest of their life. When a 2.3% COLA is applied, it'll be applied against their bigger base income of $57,000, so the COLA will translate into a larger dollar amount that they will receive compared to the $40,000, a 2.3% COLA applied to the $40,000 of income that the couple on the right gets. They've got $17,000 of extra annual income for the rest of their life, inflation adjusted. And that can mean a heck of a difference in terms of the quality of their retirement years by having that extra income. Now the problem that they face is, since they're delaying the start of their benefit to age 70, where does their income come from age 65 to age 70 when they're starting their benefit? And basically, there's two potential sources. They could continue to work, and let's assume they don't want to continue to work. So if they're going to retire at 65, they're going to have to use more of their savings to generate the total retirement income that they need, because they're going to have to go 5 years without anything from Social Security. But the file and suspend strategy will allow them to take less from their savings, because they're going to get an extra $40,000, $50,000 of free benefits by using this strategy. And basically all they do is, as soon as they reach full retirement age, we're going to assume it's age 66, we're going to assume that the husband in this case has the larger benefit. He's going to do what I said I'm going to do. He goes down to Social Security. He files a restricted application for Social Security. This allows his wife to file for the spousal benefit. Then he immediately suspends his benefit so that he can take advantage of those delayed retirement credits, so that when he's age 70, it'll now be $37,428 for just his workers' benefit. The spouse files for her spousal benefit, not her workers' benefit, because she wants it to take advantage of those delayed retirement credits. And here's the amount of the benefits that they would receive, those spousal benefits. When you add up those total benefits, it's $46,855 of free additional benefits that they would not have received had they not known about the file and suspend strategy. At age 70, they stop their spousal benefit, and the spouse replaces that benefit with her larger workers' benefit, which has gotten those delayed retirement credits over the years, and now is a total benefit of $20,412. You add that to the husband's workers' benefit, it's the total of $57,000. $17,000 more on the couple on the left. Yeah, they had to eat up more of their savings for that 5 years until they were awaiting Social Security to start. But they didn't have to take quite as much out of their savings because they got an extra almost $47,000 of free benefits. Now, you can't just, as so many things when we're dealing with the government, it's not as straightforward as that. There are some traps, big traps associated with file and suspend, which is the reason why you can't just go out and start talking about this unless you've spent the time studying it. One of the traps, and this is only one, a lot of people, when they first hear about file and suspend, they think, oh, that's great. Well, why not why not apply for my spousal benefit even before the time I reach full retirement age? Let's get the spousal benefit when I'm 62 or 63 or 64, and I'll let my workers' benefit just get those delayed retirement credits. The trap is that if you apply for Social Security prior to reaching full retirement age, Social Security will automatically pay you the larger of your spousal benefit or your workers' benefit. You're going down and you're making an application and you think you're applying for the spousal benefit. As soon as Social Security, when the calculations are done by the computer, it says, oh, the workers' benefit is greater. Well, you get the greater of the two, so we start your workers' benefit. Well, you may say, well, what's the problem? I mean, they're collecting a bigger benefit. The problem is if the intent had been to delay the start of the workers' benefit so that it got those delayed retirement credits. Remember, the spousal benefit does not get delayed retirement credits. So what they were thinking was, we're going to delay our workers' benefit so that it gets those increases. That didn't happen. They started collecting their workers' benefit at an earlier age, and once they start collecting it, they're pretty much out of luck. So the point is, you gotta take the time. If you're going to start talking to your clients about this, you got to take the time to make sure that you really have these strategies down. And unfortunately, you can't rely, and your clients can't rely entirely on what they hear when they go down to the Social Security office. There was an article from Wall Street Journal, June of 2012, where they had gone out to some of the Social Security offices to test the file and suspend, what would be the Social Security employee's reaction when you tried to do it. And they found several instances where the employees would say, oh, no, you can't do that, when you absolutely could do it. So if you tell your clients to go try this strategy, they come out of Social Security and say, no, you can't do it, you got to help those clients and you got to advocate for those clients, because it's right on the Social Security website that you can do it. And you can back that up again with article after article from credible sources that will tell you that you can do it. This is a great opportunity for us as advisors, because it's a tremendous door opener to get in front of clients, to tell them, to get them this important information. And boy, while we're there, now we've got this tremendous opportunity to start talking to them about how we can strategically combine our annuities inside Roth IRAs and our distributions from our permanent life insurance. And if we put it together all in the right way, we're not just going to boost your income significantly. We are going to slash the taxes on that income, and you're going to end up with a greater amount of spendable income at retirement. And we are the only people that can do that. You've got to hold a life insurance license to do the things that we're talking about doing here. So we're in a great situation with this. If you want to learn more about this, there's a couple of things that you can do. One is you can buy my book. It's crammed with those strategies. Any of you that are in the Western United States, I have a one-day training event that's coming up in Irvine, California. It is next Wednesday. I'm going to promote it one more time in my webinar tomorrow, and then we will stop taking registrations tomorrow evening. The cost is $99. It is an intense one-day training event. I mean, I'm going to take you from 10 o'clock, which is when we start. So if you're driving from an area, you got time to get here. Even if you're flying in from an area, you got time maybe to take an early flight and still get in. We're going to take you from 10 o'clock until 5:30, and we're just going to cram you with a ton of information on how to optimize your IULs so that we're getting the absolute biggest benefit from our IULs, how to put our annuities inside of our Roths, how to combine those income sources with the right claiming strategy. We're going to go all through the claiming strategies, all through file and suspend, and by the end of the day, you're going to see how you have the ability to put together a retirement income plan for your clients that no other financial planner can, it's not a life insurance agent, can come anywhere as close to competing with it in terms of the spendable income we're going to end up getting to our clients. If you're interested in this training, it's $99, but we've got a brand new software program coming out. It's called the Social Security Navigator. Many of the screens, when I was taking you through example 1 and example 2 and example 3, that comes right from our Social Security Navigator program, explaining those threshold levels. You can, with our program, generate a report and give it to your clients. It'll be personalized with your information on it, be personalized to them, and that's a 10-page full-color report that starts building the case for properly combining income from your permanent life insurance, your Roth, your annuities inside a Roth. It starts building that case. We're going to give away a free version of that Social Security program to everybody that goes to the Irvine event. You can go to the IUL training website. If you see over in the top right corner, just under the picture of the book, you see free to all attendees. You can click that button and you can learn more about what the Social Security Navigator report generator, how you can use it, what you can do with your clients. And we're real excited about that. So come to this event, $99. It'll be well worth it in terms of what you'll learn, and then you'll get the free version of the software as well. Go to IULtraining.com. You can learn all about it. If you've got any questions, my email address is at the bottom of the screen. Appreciate everybody's attention. I will be repeating this topic tomorrow in the morning if maybe you want to sit in on it again. Hope to see any of you that can make it at that Irvine training. Thanks a lot.